PDA burnout can happen even when everyone is doing everything right. That's part of what makes it so disorienting, for the person experiencing it and for the people around them. Burnout isn't about a lack of effort, it's about a nervous system or a support system that has run out of capacity to keep meeting demand. PDA burnout happens when the demand load, all of it, visible and invisible, exceeds what the nervous system can process and recover from. It usually builds up slowly over weeks or months, which is why it often looks sudden when it finally surfaces. The capacity was draining the whole time. It just wasn't visible from the outside. PDA burnout affects 3 groups, and it looks a bit different in each: PDA children, PDA adults, and the parents or caregivers supporting them. In PDA children and adults, burnout often shows up as a dramatic narrowing of what feels possible. Demands that used to be manageable, getting dressed, going to school or work, basic routines, suddenly become impossible. This isn't regression in ability, it's a depleted capacity to tolerate demand. You might see increased shutdowns or meltdowns or withdrawal from activities and interests they usually enjoy, because even enjoyable things carry some demand and there's no capacity left to meet it. It's important to understand that the underlying skills haven't disappeared. The capacity to access them in that moment has. That distinction matters for how you respond. Caregiver burnout looks different, but it comes from the same root cause: sustained demand without enough recovery. It often shows up as constant vigilance, anticipating the next shutdown before it happens, scanning every situation for potential triggers. That hypervigilance is exhausting even when nothing is actively going wrong. Many parents describe feelings of resentment toward the demands being placed on them, quickly followed by guilt for feeling that way at all. Both feelings are valid, and neither one makes you a bad parent. There's also often a deep isolation, because very few people in a parent's life truly understand what daily life with a PDA child actually involves, which makes the exhaustion harder to explain and harder to get support for. The instinct for both PDA individuals and their caregivers is often to push through, to keep meeting the demands, hoping things will improve. This usually backfires. Pushing through burnout doesn't build resilience the way it might with ordinary tiredness. It deepens the depletion because the underlying capacity never gets a chance to recover. Real recovery requires reducing the overall demand load, not increasing effort or willpower. That's true whether it's a PDA child recovering from shutdown or a parent recovering from months of vigilance. So what does recovery actually look like? For PDA children and adults, it means fewer demands for a period of time, more autonomy over daily choices, and space to simply exist without needing to perform or comply. For caregivers, it means actual support, not just advice, and rest that isn't conditional on everything else in the household being fine first. That kind of rest is rare, and it matters more than most people realize. Burnout recovery is slow, and it's not linear. That's not a sign that something is being done wrong. That's simply how recovery from sustained demand overload works, for anyone. If you recognize yourself or your child in any of this, and you're in the middle of burnout right now, you're not failing. You're depleted, and depletion can be addressed with the right kind of rest and the right reduction in demand. There's a free Discord community in the description for parents, adults with PDA, and caregivers navigating exactly this. No pressure to join, just know it's there. I'll see you in the next video.